Hey guys, in this video let's discuss Graph API best practices. So guys, of course using Graph API we can read all the users from tenant. Then we can add new member in tenant. So guys, new member it means, let's say the domain of your organization is @abcd.com. So adding a new member it means you can add a user with email id @abcd.com. So that user, for example john.david@abcd.com, so that is a member of the organization. Then we can invite a new user. So again we can invite a user with, let's say, Gmail id, so that is a guest user, and then we can delete the users, etc. Now guys, just because Graph API allows us all these operations, we should not do these operations blindly, and we must follow a few good practices when we are working with Graph API. So for example, let's say we have a custom app which internally uses Graph API. So from such app we should never add a member and we should never delete a member. So ideally adding a new member, so again a member it means adding a member with that domain, that is @abcd.com, and not inviting a guest user, that is @gmail.com. So what I mean is, when we want to add a new member again with @abcd.com, or we want to delete a member, ideally we should leave that responsibility to our HR or to our infrastructure team, because these are very critical operations, right? But if you are reading all the users from tenant from your custom app, that is okay. Or if you are inviting a new user, that is guest user with Gmail id, that is also okay. So I guess it was easy to understand, right? So again, adding a member or deleting a member we should never perform using Graph API from our custom application. Then guys, there is something called least privilege access. So guys, let's say we have two custom apps, let's say app 1 and app 2. Now app 1, it wants to read the users from tenant and it wants to invite new users, and app 2 it just wants to read the users only, it doesn't want to invite new user. So in such case, to this app 1 we should provide only read.all permission and invite.all permission, and to this app 2 we should provide only read.all permission. And again, as we just discussed, adding a new member or deleting a new member, it should never be performed from such custom applications. So what I mean over here is, guys, can you see this app registration, that is this user management app registration, and when we assign the permissions to this app registration, we assign user.inviteAll and user.readAll. So what I mean is, we should assign least privileges, that is least permission to an application, and of course user.read/write/all, so that type of permission it should never be assigned to our custom application. Then see guys, when we are using Graph API, we configure client ID, that is app registration, and client secret, right? So if I show you, see guys, here we have added this client secret directly in our app settings, but ideally such client secret we should not store it like this, but instead we should store it in key vault, and our application it should fetch this secret from key vault. So key vault, and in fact the better is, if possible, we should use managed identity, so that there is no need to store such client secrets at all. So guys, what is this managed identity, why it is used? So I have already discussed this in one of my playlists, so I will share the link of that playlist in the description of this video. But my point is, we should secure such secrets, okay? And then the next is, we should maintain audit or logs, and let me explain you this. So guys, we are in our Azure tenant or default directory, and if you go down, see here we can see sign in logs. Let me open it, and let me open this audit logs as well. So if you see, yes, the logs are maintained, that is these are sign in logs, and we have audit logs as well. So audit logs, it means the details of invited users, then deleted users, invited external user, created app registrations and all that. So yes, by default this type of logs are maintained. So again, sign in logs and audit logs. But if you see, these are the audit logs and these are maintained for 1 month only, right? And see these sign in logs, and these are maintained for 7 days only. So obviously the long term history is not maintained. And secondly, what if we have to find some meaningful report or we have to get some meaningful dashboard from this data? So for example, I want to get the information of all the users for which sign in failed, or I want to get information of all the guest users, that is external users who are invited. So for example, let's say Gmail users who are invited. So again, to get such type of report and to maintain or to store these logs for a longer duration, what we can do is we can send all these details to our log analytics workspace. So for example, if I go down over here and if I say diagnostic settings, I will say add diagnostic settings, and here I can select audit logs, sign in logs, and of course you can select other types of logs as well, and then we can send those logs to log analytics workspace. So first thing, now those logs, they will be stored for a longer duration of time, and second, you can write and create custo query to get meaningful insights or meaningful reports from that log analytics data. And of course you can pin such reports as a dashboard as well. So that's it guys for this video. Thanks for listening.